So right now in Sweden, we have got a bit of a Gardens monopoly going on. They have won the last 3 Swedish Premier Divisions. We need to make sure that we are at least challenging them and making it hard for them. We did kind of do that last season. In fact, we probably should have won the league last season, but we did not. We probably should have won the league. I say probably, we shouldn't have won the league then. In fact, we almost got sacked in that season. And then the season before, again, we were not too far off, but Gardens are basically running away with it at the moment. We need to close that gap. Not least so because we have got just, I believe, 3 more seasons, 8, 9 and 10, and then we will be jumping ship from Helsingborg in whatever shape we leave them in and trying to become a club in the lower half of the Premier Division and try and make them as good as Gardens and Helsingborg. So we need to try and win the league in the next 3 years, a few times ideally. On the 1st of February, we have got a transfer window obviously open. We've got £4.7 million to spend. A reasonable wage budget, £273,000, which is about £63,000 we have to spend if we want to bring in just new players alone. We have brought in a few players already. First of all is Jakob Mellberg, a 22-year-old Swedish striker and attacking midfielder that we might actually retrain to be a winger. He's coming from Värnamo. He was out of contract, and I went, you know what, you'll be better, more useful with us than with no club at all, so we brought him in, and he's actually pretty good. Also joining on a free transfer is 25-year-old English footballer Lewis Hall, who has lost his contract. His contract has expired at Newcastle, and we picked him up on a free transfer, and he's all right. I mean, he's not really played any football, but he's all right. He's got... I always look at the shape. The shape to me is weird, but I think he's probably going to do a job, and he's going to do a job in left back. That's right, we're going to be playing Lewis Hall as a left back for us, because I think he's probably our best left back. And the other player to join is 21-year-old Bulgarian attacking midfielder Alexander Petrov. He has cost £2 million to bring in, but I looked at his mental numbers, saw that 20 determination, I went, that's a good start. Then I saw the technical numbers of first touch and technique of 16 and 17, I went, yep, I think we're going to go for this, and £2 million, I believe, was his minimum fee release, so we brought him in. I think we've got ourselves a very good attacking midfielder. But obviously, with the transfer window opening, it does mean players will leave the club as well. Charlie Höglund has left. He's gone to Hammarby on a free transfer. August Forsberg has gone to Elfsborg on a free transfer. Marcus Haddad has gone to IFK Gothenburg on a free transfer. And Riccardo Commentali has gone to Lazio, not on a free transfer. He's gone for £1.4 million. I think there is sell-ons in there for Commentali. Basically, I knew this was coming. This was going to happen at some point. It has happened now. He's moved on. He's had a good season and a half playing for us. He's moved over back to Italy. It's fine. We've got some money and we've got a sell on as well. The one that I'm not too happy with is this one, is Omar Mustafa. He's gone to Bayern Munich. And yes, he has played a few times for us, but he's gone for 2.5, possibly going up to 2.8 million pounds. There is, again, a sell on in there, but I kind of had a feeling that Mustafa was going to become our number 1 goalkeeper in a couple of seasons' time, replacing Jolison. But then Bayern Munich went, no, we want him to play for our under-19s. So that is where we stand then on the 1st of February. That's the transfer business we have done. We are obviously in the Swedish Cup. We're in the Swedish Premier Division, but we do not have Europe to worry about this season, which I think is kind of annoying. And by this season, I mean the first part of the season. In the latter part of the season, we do have Europe to worry about because we will be entering the Champions League qualifiers, but we're not going to find out what's going on to those until halfway through this season. So let's jump forward then to the end of the transfer window. Let's see what more business we can get done. Let's see whether we spend our £4.7 million. The short answer is no. The long answer is no. We haven't spent any more money. We've only loaned in a new player, which is a striker on loan from Porto. We'll get to him in just a moment. We have got rid of a few more players. Most of them are on permanent deals or little loan deals. Basically, no one's left who's any good. The one I want to call out is Robert Collins. He's moved over to IFK Värnamo. I'm hoping he plays there. Just get some game time, because every scout report was like, he's good, and now it's a D. Like, he's got potential. They think he's got lots of potential, but he just never improves, never plays. We've also loaned out Johan Barchen, a player that I kind of force-played a few seasons ago, or maybe even last season. He's gone loan to Jonkopings, which hopefully he's going to get some game time playing there. Asprey has gone out on loan to Broma Pozhkana, might be their name, I'll always get that one wrong. Antonio Mbart, another player who needs to get some game time. He might be Robert Collins, but from Equatorial Guinea, so maybe we don't care too much about him. Michael Madsen as well, the Faroes, I'm not sure, is it Faroese or Faroes? I'm not quite sure. He's gone out on loan as well for a season. So we've got some players going out on loan. Joining the club then is Julio Cesar Ramirez from Porto, and he is an American striker with 3 caps to his name, and he's pretty good at football. He has come in to hopefully score us lots and lots of goals. And that is it. It's quite boring really, isn't it? So yeah, we brought in Ramirez, And that's pretty much it. This is our predicted or our best starting 11. So Jolison in goal. We've got Hall as our left back, Matson, Valor and Usman. So we've got two very good fullbacks, which is good because they're going to get lots and lots of assists. Ackerman and Nilden in midfield. We probably need a new defensive midfielder. Phil on the left. We probably need a new one of them. Petrov and McAllister. We probably need a new right winger as well. And Ramirez up front. Players that we're locking into the starting 11 then, because we brought in Ramirez up front, it means Reynard can now play on the right-hand side. I'm locking him in more because I feel like I definitely want him to play there. I don't want him to go, oh, actually, you know what, maybe you can play as a defence midfielder. No, you should be playing on the right wing at all times. Arguably, I could not lock him in, and then it gives them the flexibility to possibly put Ramirez on the right-hand side and Reynard in the middle. But I want Reynard as that winger and Ramirez as that striker because I feel like that's where they're better suited. But this is what we're locking in for the season. So far, we've obviously kicked off in the Swedish Cup, and we have made it all the way to the final for just the second time in our time in charge of Helsingborg. So hopefully we can make it 2 wins in the Swedish Cup. We do have Djurgården, a team obviously very, very good in the league, but they are definitely beatable. We've proven that. How did we get to the Swedish Cup final? Well, we beat Kalmar, we beat Malmö, and we beat Västerås. All of them in the group stage, all nice, comfortable wins. We then beat BK Häcken 4-3. We beat Hammarby 2-1, with Ramirez scoring both the goals in the semi-final, which does set up a final against Djurgården away from home for some reason at the Tele2 Arena, which is Djurgården's home stadium. I don't understand why that's the thing, but there we are. So yeah, we're hopefully, once we jump forward in just a moment, going to pick up another trophy. And on the 18th of May 2030, we did manage to win the Swedish Cup for a second time in charge, and we just about managed to scrape through. We got an injury to Ramirez in the first half, right at the death in the first half. They took the lead through Fai, and then Petrov scored in the 89th minute equaliser, an 89th minute equaliser to take us all the way through to extra time, where Ackerman scored in the 105th minute to give us the Swedish Cup trophy. Which means, regardless of where we finish this season, we are guaranteed European football next season, but also we are currently sat top of the Swedish Premier Division. Yes, Djurgården do have 1 game in hand, but even if they win that game, we will still be top of the table by 1 point ahead of them. The Champions League begins very, very soon. We kick things off against LASK from Austria, which I think is going to be a winnable game. It's going to be tough, but it should be a winnable game. Arguably, we don't want to get into the Champions League, because if we get in the Champions League, we get battered week in, week out, and then that ruins our coefficients, and that's what we don't want to happen. Speaking of coefficients, so we currently find ourselves in 11th place. Last season we got a 9.4, so we did drop further away from Austria with their 56.4. We're now on a 52.8, so we do need to have a very good year. In fact, we're losing a 10.5. We need to basically beat that 10.5 this year. It is a transfer window, by the way. We've got rid of one player. It is Arjan Kochi, who came for our youth intake a few years ago. He's gone back to his native Albania to sign for KF Tirana. We were never playing him. He played twice. He did score, though. And speaking of the transfer window, we've got just over £5 million to spend. So let's jump forward, see whether we're going to do any more business. I feel like we probably should do something. Not quite sure what yet. We'll see what happens. Well, what happened was Christopher Reynald has signed for PSG. It was inevitable, wasn't it? £2.9 million is all we managed to get from him. There is some additional clauses and things. I don't think we've got a 50% sell-on in there, though. We've got something, but I don't think it's 50%. He has been loaned back to us, though, for the rest of the season, so that's one good thing, I guess. The problem is, we've lost a few more players as well. Osman Montesino has left. He's gone over to Bayern Munich. We never played him. He played 4 times, scoring 1 goal. We did loan him out to Hammarby as well, but he's gone for £1.6 million, possibly going up to £2 million. And Rudy Usman has also left. He's gone over to Portugal to sign for Benfica. This one hurt for 2.3, possibly going to £2.5 million. I really wanted to loan him back, and they didn't want to do it. There's a few more transfers as well. So Torre's gone out on loan. A lot of these obviously staying in Sweden. One of the more interesting, it's not more interesting. This guy has gone on a permanent deal. Jack Jones has gone back to England to sign for Stoke. Maybe some game time there. Playing in, I'm going to assume, the Championship might help him out a lot. Also, Sig Bjornsson has signed for Hammarby on a permanent deal and gone out on loan by the looks of it to Christian Sand. This could be good for him. We weren't playing him, but I'm hoping he's got something about him that maybe he might get some game time there, turn into a good footballer and help elevate Hammarby. Competitions-wise, we are still top of the Premier Division. We are joint on points with Djurgården, but we do have 2 games in hand. And we are also in the Champions League, which I don't know whether this is a good thing or not. I guess one good thing is we did manage to get past LASK, drawing and beating them. We then got past Fenerbahce, and then we had the Victor Wanyama and Henrik Larsson derby against Celtic and won both of those quite comfortably. I was expecting to get knocked out at that point. Just looking at our Champions League fixtures as well for this season, We have got 6 in this season, and then 2 technically at the start of next season, which is PSG and Nice. I don't know whether we want to get through. I mean, we just want to win as many as possible. So we've got Copenhagen, Atlanta, Leipzig, Barcelona, Salzburg, Feyenoord. I'm going to put money. I say put money. I'm not going to put money on any of this. These are the matches that I feel like we might have a chance of getting something from. I'm going to then remove this one and this one. These are the matches I think we might win. If we're going to win any, Copenhagen, Salzburg and Feyenoord are the 3 that we might win. Arguably, Feyenoord might be a question mark. So if we can get maybe, let's say, 3, 6, 7, 8 points. 8 points from our Champions League run, maybe we can get into the playoffs. That's the dream. Obviously, with Reynald leaving as well, Ramirez, he's now the only player locked into our starting 11. He's not doing particularly great. 6 goals in the Premier Division, 6 goals though in the Champions League. Well, let's jump forward then to the end of the season. Currently top of the table. Hopefully we can stay there. Hopefully we can do all right in the Champions League as well. Let's see how things go then. We will start off taking a look at the Champions League, and currently we are 20th in the table, which means we have an outside chance of actually getting through the group stages. Top goal scorer as well is Ramirez, which is quite nice to see. We've beaten Feyenoord and we've beaten Salzburg, which I think was 1, maybe 2 of the matches that I said we should be able to win. We've drawn with Copenhagen and we've lost against Barcelona, Leipzig and Atalanta, which is kind of also what I expected. I'm okay with this. We do have 2 matches left to go, which is against PSG, who find themselves in 10th, and Nice, who find themselves in 34th. Maybe we can beat Nice. If we can beat Nice, that'll be good. Otherwise, I feel like we're going to drop out of this, because I imagine teams below us, we only need 5 teams below to get 7 points, and we're probably going to drop out of the top 24. I mean, at least we've got some points, I guess. We've got 2 wins, that's good. Oh, and we have won the league. We've won the league. We've actually won the Swedish Premier Division by a ridiculous margin. 57 points for Malmo and Djurgården. We finish on 70 points. That is a 13-point gap between us and second place. Our first league title ever in charge of Helsingborg. Helsingborg's first title since 2011. So what was that? 19-year gap between titles. But we have managed to lift a trophy. Looking at the squad, who was the man that did it? It is Ramirez with 33 goals. He's suddenly turned into a legend in the latter half of the season. His contract's up at the end of the end of the month, tomorrow in-game, which means he'll miss the 2 Champions League matches. Unless we can loan him for another season, which I feel like is not going to happen. We might need a new striker in the summer. Especially considering Reynald is also going back to PSG tomorrow. So our 2 top goal scorers aren't going to be at the club anymore. Phil has got 16 and 18 assists. Petrov with 12 goals, that's good. Mana with 11. Lewis Hall and Horta both with 10 as well. 18 assists for Lewis Hall. That's a lot of goals for a left-back. What's he been doing? They're all penalties. They are all penalties. So he's had 10... Oh, he scored 6 penalties and 4 normal goals. He's actually had 8 penalties in the league and missed 3. That's a lot of penalties to miss. Just want to sort by assists as well. So Henrik Bergman, by the way, when we sold Usman, I locked him in to be our right back for the season. I did say, I think when he came in our youth intake last year, that he could be good, but he's a right back, so he's not going to get any game time. He has now got some game time. He's played a total of 17 matches, got 9 assists, which is good. He's certainly up there. In fact, he's our 4th top assister for the season, which is pretty ridiculous when you think he's not really played a huge amount. Speaking of youth intakes, we'll finish very, very quickly on this. So Daniel Peterson is apparently one of the best ones. We've had another shocker, okay? Is what I'm trying to say. We've had another shocker. No one's any good. We're all getting just absolute garbage youth intakes, and I don't really know what to do about it. I think we've changed our head of youth development as well since I last mentioned it. Oscar Wall is now our head of youth development. He should be good. He's got all the numbers in the right places. He's just not getting anybody good. Yeah, he's been here for just over 2 years, so he's been here long enough to actually make a difference. But yeah, Oscar Wall not really doing the job. Our youth intakes are pretty garbage, and it's worrying. So Season 8 then finishes with us doing the double, technically. Although it doesn't, because the Swedish Cup was from last year. I don't get it. I do get it, but it's weird. It confuses me. I want to see Swedish Cup there and another Swedish Cup there. So we can see both of them from last year and this year, because we won it. We've won the double. I'm claiming we've won the double. We are champions of Sweden for the first time in 19 years. We've now got 2 more years left of Helsingborg. Can we do it 2 more times? That is the question.